No collusion. GOP House Intel members concluding their investigation, finding no coordination between the Trump campaign and Moscow. Republicans will now send their report to Democrats before releasing the findings. Joining us now is Representative Chris Stewart, a member of the House Intel Committee. And Congressman, you know, it wasn't just the question of whether Republicans were working with the Russians. There were a lot of questions about whether Democrats were working with the Russians through Fusion GPS, which may have relied upon Russians to get some information for the Trump dossier. Was that looked into?
Well, we were, although that wasn't the focus. And look, the irony of this is extraordinarily rich, isn't it? And I think some of my Democratic colleagues may wish when this is all over that they'd never started this investigation. But look, no one can be terribly surprised that we didn't find evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russian officials. We've known that for months. And believe me, let me ask you, do you think if there was evidence of that, and some of my Democratic colleagues have said, yeah, there's evidence, we just can't share it with you. Oh, my heavens, who believed that that would not have been leaked at this point?
You know, with all the leaking that goes on in Washington and with all of the conviction on the part of some of these Democrats to find collusion, if there was a smidgen, don't you think we would have known about it by now?
So we're going to leak everything else except for the key piece of evidence that everyone's waiting for. It just seems extraordinarily unlikely. But again, no one's surprised by this. I mean, Dianne Feinstein has said this, General Clapper said it, Senator Burr has said it. And the American people at the end of the day are willing to look at this and say, you know, if there's no evidence, and if I can make a point, and that is we have accused people of essentially treason. This isn't just jaywalking.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons we wanted to release this report. To be fair to those individuals, we want to remove that cloud that hangs over them. These are serious accusations. And if at the end of the day they're innocent, they deserve to be told that, for the American people to know that.
You know, of greater concern to a lot of people who are watching is whether or not certain agencies of the U.S. government, namely the FBI, the Department of Justice, and even the State Department, were involved in an effort to keep Donald Trump out of the White House, to use their powers to do that. Is that in the purview of your investigation? Because it could involve, as I mentioned before, through Fusion and the Trump dossier, the Russians.
Yeah, and look, we've been talking about that. That was the main purpose of the memo that we released. Was the FBI diligent? Were they honest? Were they presenting information before the FISA courts while actively trying to hide critical parts of that information? I've talked with a number of federal judges, and they would have been furious if they had been presented this information, and some of this was hidden from them. By the way, that's the reason the FISA court is secret, so they can present everything. There was no reason at all that they shouldn't have been more straightforward, and that's, I think, where our investigation now will continue to look.
Yeah, Congressman, forgive me for interrupting, but we just have 30 seconds. The appointment, or the nomination, I should say, of Gina Haspel to be the next director of the CIA. She would replace Mike Pompeo, who go to be Secretary of State. A number of people, particularly on the left, even though she's received full support from Republicans and Democrats who worked for the CIA before, some people on the left say because of her background working with rendition, being in charge of a facility in Thailand that may have used waterboarding, she's unfit for that office. Your feelings?
Well, I think she's actually a great choice, as was Mike Pompeo, a very close friend of mine. Both of those are great leaders. They have the background and the capabilities to lead the CIA. I think it's an indicator of just the divisive time that we live in. I mean, there are some people, you could appoint Mother Teresa to some government position and they would oppose her. They're just going to reflexively oppose almost anyone that the president puts forward. And I think she's a great choice, actually.
Congressman, great to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.